This is the story of how the Roman family came to be. My father, Sergio, was living in Chimaltenango in his early 20s, about 35 minutes from the main city of Guatemala. There, he enjoyed playing basketball, hanging out with his friends, and playing music for his church. My mother, Victoria, was graduating high school around the same time in a profession in teaching. She enjoyed being a teacher, but then changed professions to become a dispatcher for the police department in Guatemala City. Then one day, her department chose to transfer her to the city of Chimaltenango, where my dad lived. The basketball courts that my dad played in were outside of the municipal building that my mom worked in. And one day, he was selling raffle tickets for his team, and that's where he had his first interaction with my mother. He later asked her out on a date, and then they began dating for several years. Then in 1990, after agreeing to do long distance, my dad moved to Los Angeles, California. Then 2 years later, my mom followed and went to El Paso, Texas. My mom worked for a music store/library in El Paso, and she wanted to start a future with my dad, so my dad moved to El Paso. Once he arrived to Texas, he proposed to my mother, and my mother accepted. There, they served in a ministry, and after a couple months, began to plan their wedding. My parents didn't have any immediate family near them at the time, so the witnesses to their wedding were their friends and brothers and sisters from church. A year later, my brother was born on November 14th, 1995. My parents were living happily in El Paso, Texas with my brother, and then after 3 years of living there, they decided that it was time to expand their family. They wanted to be prepared, so they wanted new jobs and a new home, so in 1998, they decided to move to New York. Then a couple months later, on August 18th, 1999, I was born. And it was here in Spring Valley, New York, that I was born and raised. And I am thankful every single day for the journey that my parents took to create the Roman family.